Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Cosmic Horse HD. Today we have a new venture: exotic world of podcast. The podcast will be known as Cosmic Experience. Episode 1: War and Colonization. Yo, don't talk, bro. I'm gonna introduce you, and then I'm gonna add a Discord noise. All right? So
Uh-huh.
stay quiet. Edit this out. Episode 1: War and Colonization. The guest we're going to have today to speak on this topic has his qualifications. Let me go through his resume. Every war game imaginable on Steam. And we undertook modern history together in year 12. Welcome to the podcast. First guest, Skylash.
Yippee!
Yo, can you... What?
I got some credentials behind me. Holy shit!
Yo, can you be serious?
Yeah.
This is not a joking podcast, but
Yeah.
introduce yourself, height, age. People need to know. No one's gonna believe a word of a 5'2" midget. Name your age and name your height. No one cares about your real identity. Name the essentials.
I'm 22 and I'm 5'10".
Literally exaggerated. More like 5'8". We
That's
move.
not okay.
Either way, he is qualified on this matter, or he's the best I've got. That wouldn't break boundaries that YouTube allows. All right, let's start off hot immediately. Is colonization ever a good thing? I would like to hear your opinion on this matter.
Uh, I mean, depends what side of history you're on.
What the fuck does this mean? Elaborate. You can't just leave an open-ended thing. You can either
Ah.
divert the question back to me or explain it.
Alright, my bad, man. Sorry, I'm not well versed in the way of podcasts.
Well, now you
I
are.
mean, you've got prime examples like India where it doesn't work out, and then you've
I
got
agree.
prime examples like some random ass country that probably doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, America was obviously colonized, and look how it's going. Obviously, they did some bad things, but
Yeah. I mean, look.
eh,
I feel like once I think I could see the vision of you saying depends what side of history. And if you're the people of the said colonizers, then you're gonna be fine. Like Australians, it's a great country now. But I think it turned
exactly.
out
But
great because, well, even if they're criminals, the British weren't just gonna, abandon their own. Well, we're lucky in case of Adelaide. This was never a prison city, so 1 point
yeah,
for Adelaide. Little plug, best city in the world.
100%.
Are you against colonization?
Uh, I mean, in the modern day, yeah,
What is
it's not like anyone's gonna fucking go and colonize fucking today.
no dipshit? That's not the thing. Are you just against
Yeah.
colonization, even if it happened in the past? Yeah, no shit. There's gonna
Uh,
be no
I
colonization now,
mean,
but
not really.
you're
Obviously,
not
back then
against it.
it's
Okay, that's an interesting take. Okay, go on.
it's, um, it's just if you're that powerful and that big like the fucking British were back then.
No, but there's a difference. You can simply extract the wealth. You can invade countries and not colonize it, like Genghis Khan did. He kind of just, when came over, put the country under his banner, and then kind of just fucked off. He didn't want to change the culture of the land. He just administered it, but kept the structure how it was. He didn't what do you call it? He didn't enforce his religion. He didn't enforce his own laws. He kind of just won, extracted the wealth, and left. Do you not fuck with that?
Yeah, but he also went around and just killed pretty much everything
But
and
killing
burned
doesn't leave
everything
a
to the
mark. But think about
ground.
this: you can regain a population. Are you ever gonna regain your native religion or native way of living once it's been forever changed in the long term?
It's no, you're not. But I mean, it's obviously a different story. I mean, if you go to a fucking deserted island and see, compared to you, are people who have much less of a on a technological standpoint, just miles behind you, you'd think you're doing them a favor by fucking taking over. I mean,
But it's
sure, they then went and shot everyone.
yeah, but you
So
see,
there's
that's never the case though, right? Like when the British came to India, yes, they built, let's say, railways, they built roads, I guess, but all of that was done to extract wealth at the company, to transport the gold that they've extracted and stuff like that. If they just waltz in and they're like, you know what, these poor souls, man, they need a street lamp here, they need roads here. Sure, come colonize me. But that's never the case. Like look at France, right? Like what, the entire of Africa, they just went there. Mind you, France has, to my knowledge, no natural gold mines in the actual country, but
a
they have the second or fourth highest gold reserves in the world. Why do you think that is?
couple of African countries.
I think so. I think Mali's a big one.
Uh,
Either way, but then there are cases like Japan, which just committed crimes against humanity non-stop, but infrastructure-wise, they were actually quite decent for the company, for the country in the long term. They built
hmm.
really nice roads. They didn't. They were. Their motive wasn't to enforce a expand a religion or territory. Yes, but every colonization is going to put it under this banner. But apart from the crimes against humanity and terrible things they did in China, they actually built some pretty nice infrastructure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Rank your top 5 best colonization. This is objective here, so it's not what you think was the least damaging to the country, which is best as far as furthering the motive of the colonizers.
As in the actual country that was colonized.
No, they were colonizing. So British are the objective number one because they colonized pretty much the whole world at this point.
Yeah.
What
Well,
are
the
the other
British and
4? Or you don't have to say 4. Whatever ones you think were successful.
um the fucking or the French
Yeah, I
were
agree.
less successful, but they still had their successes. The
Oh yeah,
British are obviously like, they're leagues above everyone else.
yeah, I agree.
And it's just gonna be fucking I don't even
Spain,
remember them.
conquistadors,
The,
Spanish.
the Spanish are kind of mid though. They're
What
kind
about the
of
what about the Dutch?
the Dutch. Yeah, I reckon the Dutch are above the Spanish.
Honestly, I respect the
They didn't
French
they
to a
didn't do
certain
too
degree.
much, but
The French came to Australia, they came here, they did their little research, and then they left without doing anything.
yeah.
But that's also because British were already here, and I don't think they want to fuck around and find out, I guess. So far we got British, Britain, Spain, and not Spain, France, and the Dutch. So what are the other two potential suitors?
I don't know if there's any.
What about the
There's
Portuguese?
Portuguese are pretty mid. What the fuck did they do?
Oh, they own some stuff in Asia. What about the Turkish? That's a big one.
The Turkish
The Ottoman.
Ottomans.
They
Um,
those guys were
I
brutal
mean,
at changing the landscape of the living culture for each country
th-
they colonized.
they had a lot, obviously,
Yeah,
but they also, as far as I'm aware, had the most revolts and everything. So, I mean,
yeah.
they came and conquered, but they weren't very good at it. And I mean, there is no Ottomans anymore, is there?
No, you're right.
I reckon they can be a solid fifth. They were there, they did their things, but
All right, so
they had their
Ottomans.
time.
Yeah, they had their time. I agree. Now, top 5 worst colonization. Now, this is based upon the sheer brutality of the colonization.
Um,
I think Britain's gonna take the top spot once
I
again.
think, uh, yeah, I reckon it can take number one. It's done some things,
Yeah,
some
I don't
great
know.
things.
Great things. Oh, okay.
Yeah, some really nice things.
Depends how you look at it.
Um,
They they are responsible for Adelaide, so I'll give them a pass. But
I reckon Japan's gonna be a solid two.
I, yeah, I agree. Japan's got to be up there.
It's, it's definitely gonna be up there. I don't even.
Honestly, we could include China in this because what they're doing currently could be considered colonization. The way they're trying to
Eh,
grab Mongolia, the way they've already grabbed Tibet, and they're going after Taiwan.
Hey, we can bring a modern twist to it. Sure, China.
Yeah, but
Um,
Ottomans were pretty brutal, man, when they came to their enforcement of their rule.
I reckon there's a it's a bit of a left ball. I reckon the Portuguese come forth just
What?
with. Now, hear me out here. What they did in the like 15th century or whatever it was, bringing fucking their shit to Japan, that caused a mayhem in Japan. Now, it wasn't directly because of them,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I
But
agree.
them bringing their culture, their advanced weaponry, and bringing that whole turmoil,
Mhm.
causing whichever fucking whatever war it was between
Yeah.
the I think it was the shogun and the emperor.
Mhm.
It's not entirely their fault, but it's a major part of it. So I'm putting Portugal at four.
Yeah. So yeah, okay.
Mm.
We can take that. You know, Japan's a cool little country, so we don't want stuff going down over there. Even though they did some stuff in World War II, which shouldn't. But look, the country improved for the better after the World War II. So we respect Japan. Thank you, Japan.
Yeah, it only took two nuclear bombs, but
Sponsor our trip.
respect.
Um, moving on. Do you think France has adequately paid for their colonization of West Africa? Do you
Um,
think, in the long term, their colonization was a good or bad thing? Let's just hypotheticals here. No disrespect to Africa, but this is purely hypothetical. Where would West Africa be if it wasn't for the colonization? So you see, I know they like to claim was it Musa Mansa or whatever guy, the richest king of Africa who had like a bunch of gold from Mali.
mhm.
Would he have genuinely gone on to do something if the French, well, not him, I don't know if he was alive then or not, but all the gold he had, would you reckon they would have built a utopia if the colonization didn't happen?
Probably not.
Probably not. Why?
Probably not. I mean, just I mean, obviously we're never gonna know, but I mean, just considering other places that could be relatively similar. I mean, it's never really worked out too well having just a guy with a lot of money, if he was around then, or even just whoever would be.
Mm-hmm.
And just especially considering what their infrastructure would have been without the French.
Yeah.
It, I mean, they could have, a good country or fucking whatever they want to have,
Yep.
but it's probably not going to be up to terms with whatever would be at the exact same time
Mm.
in anywhere else. So it just depend who's there and if they can even get their technology up to date. And it's possible, but it's just all
Mm.
it's all rumors and speculation.
So do you think that France is adequately paying for their blunders or their crimes for colonization with all the riots they've been experiencing in the past couple years?
um I mean, they're not paying; they're profiting. They're not. They got what they needed, and they're out, and they probably still get stuff. It's you can't even if you just gave it back
On a little lighter note,
completely.
would you visit would you visit France?
No
What? Why not?
shithole, mate.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
You cannot be serious. Come on.
I'm
Their
being
buildings,
serious.
their buildings, their cathedrals, they look great. What, you don't want to see the Renaissance museum?
I think there's better in elsewhere, and I just hate France.
They got some good food, no? Everything's butter.
Maybe.
Butter, butter, butter. I know you like your croissant.
I reckon there'd be places I'd want to go before France.
Real
So we'll
question:
put
would
it
you
at that.
walk into a Parisian bakery and ask for a croissant or a croissant?
What kind of question is that?
It's a real question. It's something
Yeah.
I would debate before going there. Like, do you want to get cooked by the grumpy Frenchman working at the bakery, or like what? I know they're picky. Like, even if you try speaking French, they're just gonna cook you regardless.
Yeah, I feel unless you have a good grasp of the pronunciation, it's going to come off more disrespectful if you try to pronounce it and fuck it up than just going croissant.
So
They're
you're gonna,
probably used to it by now anyway.
yeah. So you're gonna say croissant. Is
I'll
what
say
you're.
croissant.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I
final
would say the
answer.
same thing. Like, you would just look like a dickhead if you just like are trying to pretend something you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Le
stick to your,
croissant.
yeah. Just stick to your lane. You know what I mean? All right.
Exactly.
Who was more out of pocket? Japan for Pearl Harbor or U.S. for Hiroshima, Nagasaki?
Japan. The
Japan.
not only out of pocket, but just straight up stupid. Because America were not doing anything. The only thing they were doing was supplying people and staying neutral,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't gonna matter
Yeah.
because there's only so many people that can fucking from the others. You can't use a tank if you have no one.
Yeah.
They go and think, oh yeah, we're gonna be smart. We're gonna bomb America, who isn't even in the war, and then they'll be completely done. And they weren't completely done. They got mad. They fucking fucked shit up, and then they decided to fucking drop a couple nukes on them. So
But isn't that a little
then,
too far? Like, did they not take in the civilian factor? Because Pearl Harbor mainly contained army men. So,
yeah, well, the whole point of Pearl Harbor was to cripple the Pacific Fleet, so that America couldn't do anything, and they could do shit, which they pretty much failed at. They succeeded, but America just got their shit together faster. But America did it to force them to surrender. Now I don't remember if it fucking actually were going to surrender or what the fucking thing was, but it worked. Two little mini suns dropping on their country, and they surrendered a bit.
don't you think it would have been better to just carry out a military operation against the other soldiers other than targeting the civilians on that scale?
Well, if you think about it from their perspective, it's either you drop two little bombs on them and win, or you fight another 3 year, 5 year, if not longer, war with much more casualties on both sides in their homeland against the people that are very much willing to just sacrifice themselves.
Mm.
You'd pick the two little bombs.
So you think it's justified in America's case?
It's not justified. I mean, there's no reason to just drop nukes on a fucking civilian thing, but I can understand why
No,
they
but
did it.
it's in the context of wartime,
Yeah,
so it's justified.
it's pretty much justified.
All right. Now, here's the important part. Out of the major powers struggling in World War II, rank them major from the strongest to actually not the strongest. Yeah, you know what? The best to just downright stupid.
Um,
I think Australia should rank pretty high. Just saying, because with very little men, we held off the Italian and German army in Egypt.
I reckon
U.S. got to be one, right? Or Russia.
US is definitely number one because
Do we put
besides
Germany
the
there?
fact they weren't in
Because
there.
the Axis powers were kind of
Germany,
stupid, and Germany was holding that shit down for real.
I
Until then, they
reckon
decided to
Germany's
take control of
second
Russia.
until everything fell apart. They were strong.
If
They
if if they
obviously
didn't,
took France and everything.
yeah, if they didn't do that shit in Russia, I reckon they would have put in a better fight.
Yeah.
So we're
Um,
yeah, okay, go on.
and I reckon the British and all that, including Australian, all
Mm,
their allies will be third.
yep.
They're the main part of pretty much
Mm,
the first half of the war.
yep.
Um, Russia's. I don't even know where
I mean,
Russia
Japan
would
had
be.
that shit a lock on the Pacific.
They did, but then they also brought thingy America into it, so they kind of they had their run, but then they absolutely blundered it to oblivion.
That's true. So you're minusing some points for the incompetency.
Yeah, exactly. So I reckon Russia and then Japan.
Where's France?
Russia kind of just live.
You just put them allies at 3. Okay.
No, no, no. France is
Okay.
below Japan. I mean,
Really?
they kind of fell instantly.
Oh
They
yeah, they
didn't.
ate shit. Yeah, that's true.
They literally got fucking blitzkrieg. They let them through the fucking forgot what it was,
Was
but
Poland a sovereign country by then?
yeah, they were the first to fall
So
though.
are we counting them? Are they at the bottom?
They they're not at the bottom. They held out.
Okay.
They have some respect on their name, but
Who's at the bottom?
The
Oh yeah,
Italians are
they're at
at
the
the
bottom. I
bottom.
agree. Oh
They're,
my god,
they're fucking
incompetency.
absolutely pointless, and then just literally switch sides.
Yeah, stupid.
Like
Mussolini gotta
Jesus.
be the top one dumbest dictators of all time. Guy did nothing, and he looked, and his favorite dish was just garlics, raw garlics. Like it's stupid. And his granddaughter's an idol in Japan. Like what the fuck's going on there? So Mussolini,
Uh,
you're at the bottom, buddy. Italy, you will pay for your crimes. You already paid, actually. So, all right. World War One. What are we saying? W or an L?
I don't think any war's a
No, no, no.
W.
But like, is it as dramatic and entertaining as well? Oh, well, entertaining is the wrong word. Did it live up to the hype? Quite the same hype as World War Two.
Um, well, I think it was obviously a different kind of war, considering the technology.
Yeah, a
It
lot of
was,
gases.
it was gas artillery. Planes weren't as prevalent.
Yeah,
Fucking
the
the
guns were
guns
boring.
were shit. It was
Yeah,
basically just pure trench
but
warfare.
then the Spanish influenza was it after the war that
Uh,
wiped out more than the war itself.
something like that.
Does that play into the factor?
I mean, it's not really got anything to do with it. It's just happened. Could have happened at any time.
So World War One in the end is it did not live up to the hype,
Yeah, it didn't live up to the hype. I
but
mean,
it did create Adolf Hitler.
it, I guess it did. Yeah, it
That's
was it was the precursor. It led people to understand that a world war can and did happen. And I mean, they did call it the war to end all wars, but clearly it didn't. But it gave everyone a taste. It showed that people can just fight like that.
all right. So final two questions remaining. One second to last question. Out of all the
Mm-hmm.
world leaders, what three world leaders in World War Two had the most aura?
Almost aura.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think Emperor Hirohito, or I don't know if I'm pretty sure that's his
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Just for being that bonkers, his aura was mad off the chart, bro. Like, and he looked like a student at some university, but bro was just casually just taking shit left, right, and center, committing atrocities upon atrocities. He's got to be one. Number two, I think it's Adolf Hitler. He gives off that red aura.
Mm.
The absolute like confidence that he oozed throughout the entire battle. Then his luck ran out. Number three, I think Winston Churchill. Even though I hate him, he was a massive racist. Caused a bunch of famines in what was then unified India. Um, but you gotta give it to him. Man was insane.
I'm gonna have to disagree here. I reckon Hitler's on top. I mean,
Hitler's on top.
he's
I can see that.
he's he's the main man. I mean,
Yeah, he was the reason. Like low key. You got,
he started it all. He brought everything up from nothing,
look,
became chancellor. All
exactly.
it's
End of the day, you gotta bro had like so much hatred for just getting kicked out of the art school that he said, you know what, fuck it, let's just start a world war, take over this country, do whatever the hell I want. You gotta
Exactly.
respect the hustle, like low key. He's a heinous man, but he's the definition of I want it, I'm gonna make it work type shit, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, who's second?
And a number two for me has got to be Stalin. I
Stalin.
mean,
Oh shit,
he
real.
was a he was a horrible man, but I mean, he
No,
made all of that
no, but
happen.
look,
You know, he's
can we say this? Look, he was a horrible man, but he kind of stuck to his own lane. He kind of killed his own people. So like, do we get to judge it?
exactly. He's he had that much aura. He's getting his own people to kill again his own people. He instilled that much that if you have someone fucking running away, they're just gonna shoot him, even though they're on the same side. You know,
Yeah.
he's got that aura to make that happen.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
then number three is going to be Hirohito, because I mean, you got to have some level of aura. I mean, even though it's instilled in their culture, you still got to have that aura to,
Yeah.
have people literally kamikaze their planes
And I
for their
know.
country.
And Loki, you know he was carrying a big ass katana. Like you know he had that shit. Like some ceremonial family katana.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you know, bro was carrying that shit, and that just gives him extra aura points in my book.
For sure.
All right, final question. Give us a small speech on why war is bad and peace should be maintained at all costs. Just a few
Um,
words.
just a few words. I mean, a lot of people die. There's no reason for it to happen.
Wow,
You can shake hands, make some agreements.
wow,
No need to drop little suns on each other. Peace and love.
wow, man, that's really
Uh,
powerful. I appreciate.
Fight it out in Armor 3.
Yeah, ignore the last part. I appreciate you for your time.
Thanks,
Highly
man.
educated scholar. I'm sure you did your research before hopping on this Cosmic Experience podcast.
Oh, sure, man. I was in the library for months.
We would love to have you back in the future, but for now, it's a goodbye.
See you,
So,
man.
ladies and gentlemen, that was the first Cosmic Experience podcast, episode 1, War and Colonization. Thank you.